Today we're gonna build a windmill, and this has been suggested quite a bunch by all these people right here, so thank you very much for commenting. Remember to just leave your suggestions down below, and if it's cool enough or if it's a nice idea, I will definitely build it and put you in the video like I just did. So all these people wanted me to do a windmill, but I didn't know what type of windmill, because you can do so many different types. You have old ones, you have new ones that are more modern, and for example in my country, in the Netherlands, we have quite modern windmills, but also really old ones, so there's lots of difference. Now for this one, I wanted to go with a very old one. So that includes lots of wood, lots of stone, and just lots of old materials, and just making it look kind of old, like hundreds and hundreds of years old. Now I made a little section at the bottom there where you would enter the windmill, so a little stone part, and then on top of that I wanted to, with wooden logs, I wanted to make the framework, and then with clay, so hard stained clay or colored stained clay in this case, just white, I wanted to make the walls itself and the structure itself. And it was going to be in two parts. So first we have a thick part over there, which is about 3 or 4 blocks high. I'm going to change that in a second because I made a mistake. And then the part on top is going to be the part that actually goes up and where the whole thing is attached to. So on the first floor, kind of, over there, I'm going to make sort of a balcony, which also will have a door, so you can go inside this building and come out at that little balcony area right there. So I'm just placing a wooden slab all the way around, and I believe this was spruce wood in case you want to build this yourself. And I'm going to go all the way around and make a nice circle, a little bit bigger than the building below it. Which is about 4 blocks high, by the way. Now with stairs, I'm going to connect this to the bottom building, because this can't float, of course. So we need to connect this. First, I did it in this way, but I felt like this was too big and too in your face, so too much wood. So I wanted to, in the end, I changed it over. See? I changed it 1 block up and have it just connect to the top of the building right there. You didn't see this, but at the bottom of this, I also put down a couple slabs for like more support. Now this whole thing, of course, is a balcony. It needs a fence. You don't want people to fall off. It's not the point, you know. You want people to stay on there. So that's what I did right there. Just a normal oak fence. Super simple. Now to make everything nice, and this is kind of like the old windmills. I know that Minecrafters always do this like medieval style in building. This is sort of like that. Not fully, because I don't really like that style of building. But I still wanted to somehow do this in that sort of style. So that's what I'm doing right here. So I know you're not used to this style from me, and trust me, I will not do this very often, but sometimes I just like to do this sometimes. I believe I made it about 15 blocks high, which is quite large if you think about it. That's 15 meters in real life, which is kind of tall. It's like a normal house with like a big roof and everything. So this thing, like I said, is going to be more fantasy type. It's not like really what you would find in real life, because of course, look at it, you would never find this in real life. Which actually makes this really easy to build. You don't have to have standards of what something has to look like. You can just do whatever you want, and it's gonna look good because it's a fantasy build, and it's just whatever you want. So there's nothing wrong with what you're doing. Of course, there's certain standards of what looks nice and what doesn't look nice, and what people hate and what people love, but of course you can just do what you want. It's your building, so just go ahead and build it. Now I'm actually building the big rotational stuff at the front now, the blades that spin around that make wind energy into rotational energy in case of this one, because this is a sort of a grain mill. Now, of course, modern types of windmills, they actually make wind energy into power, so normal energy. But this one, of course, is a really old one, so we're just doing a windmill that makes that grinds grain down. I decided to go for a brick roof because it's very old, and this looks very much like in the style that it would be in. Now it's a very pointy roof, and with a slab on top to finish it off, because there was no center block, so I had to actually do that. There actually was a center block, but that causes the stairs to not fit correctly. That's what I mean. So I filled this whole thing in, super simple. Now we have to connect all the things to the top of the inside roof to make everything look nice, which is pretty easy. Just fill everything up, fill all the gaps in, and then later on you can make it look very pretty. Now I filled it in on that side. Now I need to fill it in on this side over here and make the roof look nice. At the bottom I made a little slab going all the way around, and now we're gonna actually work on the big blades that spin around. And these were actually quite hard to do because I had to place stairs in a way that I could place wool behind them. And first of all, I did it wrong. So that one at the top right over there, that one was right, so I had to place wool at the top of that blade. Now the bottom one, as you can see, the wool has to be placed also at the top, but I placed the staircases the wrong way around, like I'm just fixing right here. So I had to change up this entire thing, which also cost me to do the bottom left one wrong, so I have to redo that one as well. So it was kind of a struggle to get this whole thing right, but in the end it worked out quite well. And I'm going to decorate these blades with buttons later on. Just a little touch to make everything look nicer. I know you wouldn't normally see this, and like I said earlier, you would never see this building like this in real life, but that's not the point. This is sort of fantasy type medieval, and I never do this types of builds, but now is just one, because I know you guys like windmills, and I wanted to do one. So the wool on these blades start out pretty small, with just 1 block thick. Then every 3 blocks I added one on top of it to make it thicker towards the end to catch more wind. I don't know if it's that way in many windmills, but I've seen some Minecraft windmills that actually have this, and I wanted to sort of mimic this style. It's actually pretty cool because it looks nicer. It looks like the blades are actually going somewhere and going around instead of just standing still. It makes everything look more alive in my opinion. Now is the point where I'm going to be adding quite a bit of detail, so I actually divided the floors with a staircase over there, and then the top over there is actually divided by just a wooden log going all the way around, which actually gave it some character in my opinion, because having the same type of stuff everywhere looks bad. You want to sometimes switch it up. Now in the corners I placed some normal cobblestone walls just to give it some decoration, and like I said, this is not something you would find in real life, but it looks nice, so I figured why not do it. Now I placed windows literally everywhere, and I felt that it needed windows, okay? It has like 10 windows in total, but that's okay. This is a very windy windmill that needs to breathe air, so that's why. That literally made no sense, but it's fine. So I'll put down a couple more fences all the way in the corners of this. Now fences are really nice to use. You can just place them in a corner and they have no purpose, but they look nice. And that's the whole point of fences. Just place them down in these types of fantasy builds. Just place them down in corners of something, in windows or whatever, and they look good. They're just standing there being pretty. Now that was the main stuff on the windmill itself. I'm gonna add a couple more details later, but for now we're gonna make a whole farm surrounding this. Basically just using my hoe to cut down lots of grass, and by the way, a little path over there with a fence around it in a second. But I'm gonna be cutting a lot of like dirt up. I'm gonna be putting seeds in and actually make a little farmy area to just complete this build, because otherwise it will look very empty and it just complements it a lot. By the way, very off topic, but I actually changed some settings on my microphone, and in my opinion this sounds a million times better. So let me know down below what you think of the new microphone settings. I changed a couple things like levels and power, and in my opinion it sounds a million times better. Let me also take this time to thank you very much for all the support lately. It really means a lot to me seeing that you guys like what I'm creating, and I definitely want to keep doing this. I'm gonna keep doing 3 videos a week, which is maintainable for me, and it won't like flood you guys with videos, and it will also keep me sane and not go insane. Because I also have a full-time job, so combining this and the full-time job is sometimes kind of difficult. That being said, if you do like this video and you have not clicked that little button down below yet, please do so. It really helps me out a bunch. Also, let me know down below what you want me to create, and you won't never know, I might put you in the next video. As you can see, I am now putting in all the seeds of this farm, and this took quite a while to do. I think this alone, this farm, took me like 10 minutes, basically because it's quite big to use your hoe to click on all the grass, and then click in all the seeds, put in water so they wouldn't disappear, and then with bone meal, I am randomly going around because I don't want this to be a single layer of just wheat growing. I want it to be random and have some be high and some be low, and just make it look nice and uneven, because that's what you want to do. Never make things like even and the same. So that's what I'm doing right here, just randomly going around and placing some bone meal on all of these weeds. By the way guys, if you could do me a favor and share this video around with some of your Minecraft friends who might also like these types of building videos, that will mean a lot to me. If you do share it with your friends, let me know down below saying I shared the video, so I can personally thank you in the comments for doing this. So like I said, the last thing that I always do on builds is add buttons and little faults to the build to make it look more real and not like too perfect. Especially with this being a very old building, it can have some cracks and weird things going on. So to start with, I'm placing down a bunch of buttons on the front of these blades and also on the side of the building on the structural things where points connect. Now the roof is also not going to be perfect. I deleted a couple blocks at the top there. I placed some slabs. I replaced them with slabs. I put in different sided staircases to create little holes right there, like a quarter hole. It looks very nice, and it just makes it look a lot more real. Now at the bottom I also changed up the stone brick for also sometimes cobblestone to make everything look a lot better. And guys, that was it for now. I am actually very proud of this build, and also this video has been going quite well for me, so thank you very much for listening and watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care. Bye bye.